Okay, hello guys. So today is another Power Excel build guide. So I have uploaded already two build guide, basically your Icicle Mines and Venom Gaia Assassin. So now it's gonna be the mainstream. Not really mainstream, but a lot of people are playing Summoners now. So the good thing about Summoners build is that everyone has their own flavor. Like not everyone has the exact same build. Some people like to play Golem Summoner. Like that, they like to play Animate Guardian, Pure Zombie, or like Zombie Skeletons, or like Necromancer with like not really summoning anything. Basically just using corpse to deal damage. And there's also Spectre, which I'm currently playing hybrid Spectre, Guardian, Zombies, and a Golem. So it's like a well balanced all around, and I think this build is quite popular, but the difference is in the specters they summon. So raise specters is basically summoning a dead monsters that you can find in the game, and they become your pet. They become your minion essentially. So any monsters you can find except bosses, you can summon them. There's a couple of type of monsters that are good to summon as specters, alright? Not all of them are good. So you want specters that have a lot of damage, a lot of basically spell, right? Shoot spells really well, deal a lot of damage. So there are three of the specters that are really good to raise. You could of course go for the other ones if you want to try different things out. It's really up to your preference. But if you want the best in this game, the three best specters to summon, it will be Slave Drivers, which are the one I'm using right now. You have your Solar Guards, and you have the Ryzen Vow Advocates. Found in different places. So Slave Drivers are found in Control, Block Act 5. Solar Guards is in the Solaris Temple, Act 8. And the last one is the Vow Advocates is found in the temple of the what's that called? Incursion, basically. So these are the three top ones. I prefer Slave Drivers. So each specters have slightly different things, right? Slave Driver deals lightning damage, and I feel like Slave Drivers has very good single target damage. Decent clear, actually pretty good clear, but excellent single target damage compared to Solar Guards. I would say Solar Guards has slightly better clear, super fast clear as well, but the damage for single target is somewhat lacking in my opinion. That's why I go with Slave Drivers. The other one is the Vow monsters. They are really strong, have good single target and pretty good clear, so you could run either one. I prefer Slave Drivers. Just all around like a decent clear speed and a very good single target damage. You could try other things like Frost Sentinels, anything basically, right? All of them works really well. So let's talk about our gear, right? So before we talk about gear, I want to talk about the overview of this build. So in this league, it's a quite popular summoner league. It's like a summoner league, right? A lot of people are playing summoner build. So is it cheap to play summoner build, basically? I would say it's a quite cheap to play actually. You don't have to buy all these top notch gears, you know, like you can just buy decent gears and they are quite cheap, right? Unless you are really like buying like +3 level bone helmet, right? That one is really expensive, 4 Exalt plus, right? Like this chest piece is expensive, right? Because of the +1 maximum specters and all this kind of stuff, and it's a 6 link. But you don't have to go for this. You could go for like a budget version and it still works very well, because the minions themselves are really strong. They deal a lot of damage, so you don't have to go for a lot of investment, and this build will work well, right? You still can farm break tier maps. Then once you get more currency and you feel like you really like this build, invest more, you gotta get stronger. And I don't think that you cannot do Shaper with budget. This build is strong enough. I believe that on budget build you are still able to do Shaper because minions themselves do so much damage, right? And they are very tanky. But many people have the concept that it's a summoner league, gotta be expensive, but actually if you look at the gear, they are really cheap unless you are really going for the top end of the build, which in all cases for all items, when you are going for the top of the line gears, right, they are really expensive no matter what league it is, right? So I would say that this build is actually decent to play as your first build, and even with low currency is still strong to play. Alright, that's one thing I want to get across. It's strong enough to play without much investment. Of course, I'm gonna teach you how to craft certain gears, and which gear are not craftable, you have to buy them. So this will be good for those that are on budget, on solo self farm. This will be very good. So gonna go over the items a little bit. So how does the mechanics of the summoner work, right? So how do we raise the Spectre damage and the minion damage? If you look at our gear, a lot of our gear doesn't give minion damage. If you notice, many of them give +1 level to the skill gem of the minions. You can see +1 Spectres, this one +1 level, +2 level, +1 level. And we go for another +2 level on our Ascendancy. So why are we going for so much level? The reason why is to skill well for minion damage. The best way is to go and increase the level of the gem. Minions skill in general has better skilling with the level of the skill gem, because you get to raise higher level monsters and they overall increase the stats, damage, HP. So overall having an increased level is better than just raising the damage and HP purely. But of course, we still go for a little bit of damage here and there, which are like a bonus basically. Alright, so helmet, we are going for Bone Helmet. The reason why Bone Helmet is the implicit of minion deal extra damage. You don't have to go for Bone Helmet. Bone Helmet is just a little bit extra percentage of damage. If you don't have enough currency, you can go with any other helmet. You don't have to go with the same base. The reason why is that Bone Helmet is more expensive than the normal helmet you get because of the base. And if you search for level 86 Bone Helmet, a Bone Helmet just by itself costs 2 exalts. So you wanna go for a cheaper version if you cannot afford. It doesn't really affect much unless you're trying to mid-max your build, right? But the implicit just give you like 20% more damage, which can be very minor in many cases, right? So the best is you go with +3 level of socketed median gem. Over here you wanna link up your zombies and your animate guardian, alright? And just some support gems. So your zombies and your guardian get +2 level. If you get +3 level for the helmet, it's very expensive, but it's definitely worth it. So our ward, we're gonna go with +1 level of all minion skill gem. This mod prefix, you wanna roll it on this convoking ward. It's quite hard to get, so the way you get is you get like a level 70+ wand. Don't get too high. Too high level, it's hard to roll this mod because there are more mods to roll from, right? You put it here, you use transmutation, then you spam iteration until you get +1 all minion skill gem. Then you regia out the ward. Then if you have any missing mods, you can craft extra damage and all this kind of stuff. Alright, so for our chest piece, we are going for a +1 maximum number of specters, so we are able to go up to 5 specters. You don't have to go for this chest piece, it's very expensive, especially when you're going for a intelligence base. When you want to buy this chest piece, make sure you're buying intelligence based chest piece. Don't buy dex base or strength base, because you're gonna go with a 6 blue color. Any other bases other than intelligence is very hard to get 6 blue. So this base I'm having here is a hybrid between dex and intelligence, so that it's somewhat easy to get 6 blue, alright? But don't go for anything other than intelligence bases. Very difficult to get the colors you want. If you don't have the money to buy the +1 maximum specters, some ways you can get the chest piece is through Delve. Basically Delve, they have like this minion notes. It will say guarantee minion items. These are where you get this type of chest piece. And whether you get lucky or not to get the bases you want and the stats you want is all up to RNG, but it's guaranteed you'll get this type of chest piece +1 number of specters, almost guaranteed because the drop rate is so high. But whether you get a good base is up to luck, to be honest. Alright. If you don't have, you're unable to find this certain gear, another way to go for a budget version is to get a 6-link chest piece. Then you use the essence of grit. So on your body armor, you're gonna get a lot of HP. You can see body armor, you guarantee 110 to 111 maximum HP. So you gotta give a lot of HP, so that's really good. Alright. Next, after you get this chest piece, you wanna craft this mod. This mod is a prefix mod, so you wanna make sure your chest piece has a missing prefix. So it's gain 8% of your maximum life as extra energy shield. You can see we get 870 energy shield just from this mod. Because we are running so much HP, the energy shield it gives is a lot. So it helps with the survivability generally. So it's really good. The ring is just a standard ring, go with HP, resistance, and resistance just to cover up what you need. Alright. The next ring you want an unset ring. Unset ring with high HP and the resistance you need. The reason why you can't go with an unset ring is because of Commander of Darkness. Commander of Darkness only works when you have an aura affecting your character. If you are looking at our aura, which is Wrath, right? Right, it's our Wrath. You can see Wrath, when you link to Generosity, it doesn't affect your character. It only affects the allies, but they increase the effect. So they get more damage, but you don't get the buff, right? But Commander of Darkness only works when you have an aura affecting yourself. That's why we want the unset ring to put clarity. Any other gem works as well. You want a cheap aura to run. Precision, clarity is fine. Put it in, let it stay at level 1. If you increase the level of the aura, it's gonna reserve more mana. So I decided just to let it go at level 1. Just to get the Commander of Darkness buff. Basically the reason why you do that is just to get the Commander of Darkness extra bonus. Right, a lot of bonus damage. Next, our glove is just basically HP. When you want high HP and basically fire resistance or any resistance you need. Alright, and your amulet you want strength, HP and dex if you need these stats, but I recommend strength because strength gives HP as well. And you can craft some mods like minions, more HP, more move speed, anything you want basically. Boots, we are going with a special one, +1 of all race Spectre gems. So this gonna give our Spectre +1 level, very useful in terms of scaling the damage. And you want high HP and resistance if you need. Another thing is you want movement speed. But movement speed itself is a very good mod, so it's a very expensive mod on the boots. No matter what boots you're going for, 30% movement speed gonna make the boots really expensive. So I decided not to go with the movement speed mod because it's very expensive. So having just the raised Spectre level and HP is good enough for me. If you have a lot of budget, you could go with an extra movement speed. It's a bonus. And the shoe we are going for Victoria Charity. It's a very cheap shoe. It helps with HP resistance and also help to buff your minions as well. Our belt, we are going with a Stygian Vice, high strength, high HP, and the jewel is basically HP and minion attack speed, cast speed, and damage. Minion have accuracy is really good, helps to buff the damage as well. Alright, so this build we're gonna have a lot of jewel sockets. Excuse me. A lot of jewel sockets. All the jewel sockets will be running HP, minion attack speed, cast speed, and something else. So this jewel is really expensive. You could go with something else. So you can see I have HP, attack speed, cast speed, and chance to taunt and additional chaos damage. This is a very expensive jewel. You don't have to go with such high-end jewels. You can go with like simple ones. This one have blind on hit, which is good. This one have taunt on hit, is good. You want HP and attack speed, alright? Then you wanna go with accuracy as well. So I have an accuracy one. Where is it? I think it's here. Where is it? I'm pretty sure I have another jewel. So one jewel, this one. Oh, the jewel is on my belt, the accuracy one. Anyway, these are the, you only go for abyssal jewel. The reason why is normal jewels doesn't have minion stats like attack speed or like taunt or extra damage. It doesn't have on normal jewels. So you wanna go with abyssal jewels, alright? And you have two unique jewels that you are gonna be using. Basically, anatomical knowledge gives a lot of HP. So I gotta put it here when there's a lot of intelligence here. And this one is unending hunger. This gonna make them gonna increase their damage because whenever they kill something, they're gonna gain a stack, and the minions is going to get bigger. They're gonna attack faster. So this jewel is really good for minion damage. Essentially, it's about 30 chaos, somewhat cheap. All right. So for flash, we are running the standard Quicksilver, phasing flash, and all this kind of stuff, and an instant heal flash. Alright. I'm going to put a path of building on the link in the description below. You can look at my gem link. If you are running different specters, you have to change the link differently. So if you are running solar guards, you want to have GMP. If you are running fire, meaning solar guards minions, right, you want to use anger instead of wrath. Right, and one more thing before we end off. How do I activate elemental equilibrium? So we are running elemental equilibrium, meaning that when you use a skill of a different element, for example, you use a lightning, use a fire skill on your monster, they are going to gain fire resistance, but they are going to lose resistance for the other elements. So our minions are all lightning damage, right? So we are going to use a fire skill to reduce their lightning resistance, so our minions do more lightning damage. So in order to proc that, we are going to use Armageddon Brand, which is a fire skill. This skill, the reason why we are using this, it lasts very long, and it has an AoE, so it's a good thing. If you are running solar guards, you want to use Out of Storm or Storm Brand. You want to use skills that last a long time and is there good AoE to proc elemental equilibrium. So if you are running Wrath, lightning damage, Armageddon brand is good. Alright. So that's about it. And this Ravenous Horde is really good. You want to grab it as well. If you have enough oil, like this oil, to craft mods onto your items, right? You want to remove Ravenous Horde. This is a 7 point, right? Remove it, you can grab something else. I can grab more jewel sockets. Because the reason why Ravenous Horde is good is the last point. Minions gain onslaught on kill, and the other buffs are really good. So if you have enough oil or currency to craft these nodes onto your item, you can refund the 7 passive points and grab jewel sockets. Jewel sockets from here, and there are jewel sockets here as well if you need a lot of jewel sockets. So you want to run a lot of jewel sockets. Skill tree, you could change here a little bit here and there. You don't have to grab so much HP if you don't want to. I really like the HP and the minion survivability and somewhat a little bit minion damage. Alright. For the first thing you wanna grab is Death Attunement. This is gonna give you +1. This one, Lord of the Dead, is gonna give you +1 for zombies. It's very good for early game and late game as well. So you can just follow this skill tree. It's a very standardized skill tree. And also one more thing is that you don't have to grab Face Acrobatic if you don't want to. But I feel that Face Acrobatic is super good, especially on builds with low energy shield, low armor, and like low evasion basically. It helps with survivability, right? So I like Face Acrobatic, but you don't have to get it if you don't want to. You can remove it and invest in something else. This build also, you don't have to run HP. You could run energy shield as well, but I feel that HP is just better to run. And for Ascendancy, we are going to go with Mindless Aggression followed by Unnatural Strength, then Commander of Darkness, and lastly, the last one, you have a lot of options. You could go with Mistress of Sacrifice, which enhances your offering skills. So we are using Flash Offerings, increase speed and damage. Increase speed, so increased attack speed is essentially increasing damage, alright? So this one, your offerings also affects you, so you can move really fast, can be really good as well, or you can get Plague Bringer, up to you. Or if you are like me, I prefer survivability, so I grab Bone Barrier. Bone Barrier is basically when you activate the skill, it's like a steel skin. You're gonna get mitigation of damage, and your minions are going to get like a shield as well. And the skill notes itself give you physical damage reduction, recover, regeneration, basically survivability, right? So I feel that Bone Barrier is really good. You won't die that easily, and your minions won't die that easily as well, right? So for Animate Guardian, you wanna go with like Dying Breath Rod. I forget what is the name, Dying Breath or something. It helps to go with an aura to buff all your minions. Your Animate Guardian is like an aura bot. The items, you let it wear it, and it will affect all the other minions as well. However, if your Animate Guardian dies, all your items are lost basically. When you cast Animate Guardian on an item, it consumes the item. So the item is no longer available, but your Animate Guardian is very tanky and it won't die that often. My Animate Guardian haven't even died ever since I got him like pretty decent gear, alright? You can go search for Animate Guardian best equipment for him. You don't have to invest so much onto Animate Guardian at first. You can invest something like a cheap item onto it to make it tanky and all this kind of stuff. But once you have more currency, you can invest more items, but you can feel somewhat awkward because this minion, if he dies, all the items are losers, right? And you can't get the item back, you can't sell them. So unless you have a lot of currency to throw, then you use it on your Animate Guardian, or like when you get a unique item on the ground, you can use it for your Animate Guardian. Other than that, this build concludes this concludes the end of my build guide. It's a very long build guide because Necromancer Summoner build has so much things to talk about. There's so much mechanics to talk about. And I'm going to upload another video on how to raise certain specters that you want, because some people don't know how to raise the specters that they want, like where to find them and all this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna do a build guide, not a build guide, like a guide soon, alright? So gonna do some trading and alright, so thanks for watching guys. This will be the end of the build guide. Any questions you can ask me. This is an extremely long video, alright?